What's going on, everyone? Back again on how to catch a bass using Garmin Panoptix. We're gonna find brush and bass. Let's get to it. Freaking 10 pounds, dude. Got it, you got it. Googly eyes. Oh, I got it. Wow. Wow.
Giant.
So the first thing I'm gonna do is, there's a big point right here. This is a big point. There's most likely brush piles right in here. Beauty about the Panoptix is the forward shooting sonar. Garmin Panoptix is the LiveScope forward shooting sonar. So instead of me idling around looking for the brush and idling right over top of it, scaring the fish, I'll stop the boat. I'm gonna trolling motor around. I'm gonna scan with the trolling motor 60, 70, 80, 100 feet out around the boat and look for that brush. When I see the brush, if I see fish in the brush, then I'm gonna throw a swim bait usually first, a top water if it's shallow, the fish are above it, a swim bait if they're kind of mid depth, or if they're all the way down the bottom, then I'm gonna fish low and slow with either a worm or a drop shot. So let's scan around, see what we can find, and we'll show you my little routine of what I like to do. All right, so the first thing I'm gonna do, I've got the Garmin Panoptix right here on the top, and I'm gonna set it. I like to keep everything in manual settings. I don't like to keep it in auto. So I'm gonna go right now, I'm in 15 foot of water, and I want to basically double my depth. So it's at 18 right now. I'm gonna go down to about 25 or 30. Let's just say 26, actually. That actually looks pretty good. I'm not gonna set it, even though I'm in 16 foot of water, I'm not gonna set it for like 18 foot. I like to give it a little bit more space there so I can read the bottom good. The other thing is my forward, I'm at 75 feet, I like that. My sensitivity right now, I'm gonna crank it up just a hair. Look, when I crank it up, see you start to get all this interference? Okay, that's normal. That's what happens when you crank a transducer up on your gain, but I wanna bring that down. That's too much clutter right there, so I'm gonna bring it down until it starts to go away. And right about there, it's 64%. And then as I move this trolling motor around, guys, I'll find brush pile, hopefully, a fish, whatever, but that's the bottom, and that's 75 feet away out in front of the boat. So if we see brush or fish, it's gonna be in this zone right through here. So let's see if we can find some. All right, the first bait that I throw, especially on a cloudy day, right? It's a cloudy day, kind of perfect, really. Fish could be in a lot of different ranges in the water column, right? They could be on the bottom, they could be close to the surface, they could even be schooling right now, which happens a lot this time of the year. But I'm gonna start off with a swim bait. Now the very first thing I'm gonna do, I've got, this is a 3/8 ounce little Guggen saucy swimmer on the back. I'm gonna figure out my fall rate, okay? Now what is fall rate? Now you've heard me talk about it in some of the other videos. I'm gonna pull off about 10 foot of line, which is about right there, okay? Pull off 10 foot of line, I'm gonna throw it out right here like this and count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It pulled tight on 5. So that means that this bait has a 2 foot per second fall rate. So that means it's gonna, in a 5 count, it's gonna get 10 foot down. So that tells me one thing. It tells me how deep my bait's gonna go on a 5 count or a 10 count. So now I'm gonna scan around, because I don't want this swim bait crashing right through the middle of the brush. You're gonna get hung up in a lot of it. A lot of times that brush will be in the bottom in 17, 18, 20 foot of water, but the top of that brush pile might come up 5 or 6 or 7 feet. And that's gonna change depending how heavy of a swim bait I fish with. That's a brush pile. And that right there, I don't see a lot of fish around that particular one, but it comes up off the bottom, look at that. It comes up off the bottom pretty far, guys, look at that. Oh, there's another one right behind it. So that might be a fish right there, believe it or not. I'm gonna move that trolling motor around slightly, there it is. It shows it a little bit better when I shine it. Oh, there's a fish, that's a fish, for sure. There's two fish. All right, so here's what I'm gonna do. It's a third, I'm gonna stop the boat. The wind's blowing a little bit. Gotta go slow, nothing too fast. Right there, pointed toward the trolling motor. See how the trolling motor's pointed that way? It's 40 feet out. So past it. 1, 2, that's 5, started late. So 5, that's about 5. That's about 10 foot down right there. And I'm swimming. Oh, look, there's my bait right there. There's my bait on the screen. There's my bait on the screen. Let me move it right. There's my bait right there. See it? See it dropping down? It's dropping down to a fish. See, look at me hopping it. I'm hopping it right now. That's me hopping my bait. And I don't want to hop it. I'm just showing you where you can see it. Kind of cool, huh? That was my bait, and it was at about 13 feet. So I didn't get hung up in the brush pile on that cast, which is good. But I didn't see anything chase it. A lot of times you'll see if there's a really active school of fish right there. Yeah, that's hovering at about 12 foot. If I don't get any reaction, right, then I might have to go low and slow on the bottom. But I didn't quite, this isn't quite the right spot yet. We're gonna keep milling around. I'm probably gonna find a little bit better of a brush pile. I did see the remnants of another one right here behind us. Look at all that right there. Fish, ooh, big pile right there. Now there's a pile. There's a pile. That's big old, see the big old bright line in there? That might be a fish. I'm keeping my trolling motor, this Garmin trolling motor. This is the new Garmin Force, and I'm keeping it, you know, 30% or so. I'm not trying to go real fast, trying to be real quiet. Because you're 50, 60, 70 feet away from these fish. You know, they can hear you. You want to be quiet. Now, right there, those are two fish for sure. Right there, there are fish right there. That's a brush pile, and see, they're swimming into the brush pile. So there's a bass, and they're swimming around. There's another one right there. And that means this is an active pile, guys. We're going to catch some fish right here. Right there, straight out from the trolling motor's pointing at it. I'm going to let that sink a little bit farther. Yeah, right through there. Right through there. There he is, there he is. Got him. Got him, boys. Got him. He was right around that brush. I don't know how big he is. Here he is right here. Look at him coming up. Look at him coming up. Oh, yeah. Look at that. Whoa. That. Oh, awesome deal. Look at that. Little saucy swimmer right in the face. So that's what I do. That's pretty simple. That's how you catch a bass on a Panoptix with a swim bait. But no, don't worry. This video is far from over, because if I don't get bit on the swim bait again, we're gonna try to keep fishing, because I saw several fish there. I'm gonna throw low and slow. So don't go anywhere, low and slow coming at you. But look, that's how it works. And that's how I usually do it. I mean, honestly, I pull right up and I'll find an active brush pile. That's the beauty of the Panoptix, right? Is it tells me what's there. Now, it's my job to catch them. They're not easy always, and sometimes you don't even know if they're bass. Those first couple piles didn't have any fish on them. I saw a brush and there wasn't any blobs next to it. I didn't see anything moving around, and so we kept going another 50 yards and found that pile with 2 or 3 fish around it. And again, rolled that swim bait over top of it and caught them. And a lot of times that's what I'll do. I'll get those aggressive fish with that swim bait right off the bat. And then I'll go low and slow with either a Ned rig, a drop shot, a shaky head, or even just a big Mondo worm. You know, you can kind of just figure out what you want to do for the day. That's how I do it. That's exactly how I do it. That little tiny 3.3, that's actually a 3.8 saucy swimmer. I can see it perfect. So imagine looking at a bass. I caught that 12 pounder in Mexico, and I watched the thing come up behind that crankbait, and it was like a tuna coming up on the screen. It was giant. Giant. My swim bait setup is pretty simple. This is a favorite 7'11" heavy. It's a Defender series. It's not a super stiff heavy. That's why I like it for these swim baits. But I like the length of it, because I can just, as you saw, when I caught that fish, I just lean into it. And that's a really, really good rod for throwing the saucy swimmers and different things like that. This 7'11", it's awesome. I've got it rigged up on 12-pound P-line Tactical. It's a fluorocarbon line. And you don't want, this technique, you don't want to use heavy line. You don't want to have it rigged up, you know, on 15 or 20-pound line. It's going to lift your bait up. That 12 kind of stays where you want it, right? As you reel it through the water column, that 12 will stay put. Anything heavier will start to lift on you as you reel it through the water. That's why you don't throw the heavier line. You lose control of your bait. Oh, look at all this brush out here, guys. So look at all that right there. All that is brush. Oh, look at these fish right here. Now look at these fish right here. These are on the surface right there on the top of that tree. All right, so what I'm gonna throw right now is a, believe it or not, a Ned rig. I just got it rigged up. I've got a drop shot rigged up in the box. I have a 10-inch worm as well, a Mondo, but I'm gonna throw this Ned. They're just like a Ned. They're like a little Ned rig. Perfect little deal, 10-pound line. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a real precise cast. I'm gonna watch the Ned rig fall on the screen and hopefully watch a dot swim to it and catch the fish. So let's see if that'll work. Okay, right here. Look at these fish, guys. Right there, there's fish at 50 feet. I'm gonna throw my bait right there. All right, now look, I'm gonna show you my Ned. My Ned's right here. This is my Ned right here. My Ned is falling right to him. It's falling right to him right now. It fell into the brush pile. Those are fish right there. That is like perfect. You got to get your accuracy just right. You got to get your distance down. Takes a little practice. There he is right there. I got him. Yeah. There he is right there. Come on, buddy. All right. Just like that. 2 fish, 2 different ways. How to catch a fish on Panoptix. That's right. And here's what I want you to do, guys. I want you to do me a huge favor. I want you to, if you like the video, if you like the tip, is number 1, do me a huge solid and share it out. Share it out to everyone that needs to get a little bit better at fishing. Number 2, drop a like and subscribe to the channel. And thank you so much for being part of Team SMC. Check out the merch link in the description. Got some cool hats, shirts, and all kind of cool stuff. So thank you for the support, and thank you, Garmin, for all of the cool stuff that you guys make. We'll see you guys. Bam!